Just wanted to talk a little bit about fear and the issue associated with fear. As we've gone out to some of our communities and we've started to initiate some fairly big projects, and when I say big projects, they're not super big. They're $50 million projects that are that are big from the community's perspective, but on a global scale, they're not really all that large, and it's getting people to understand and think outside the box that really is the biggest challenge. And when you're working within a community environment, it's having people believe that they have that capacity and that capability from a community level to be able to succeed. And that yes, there are a lot of risks that are associated with securing resourcing for a project and taking on that debt load. But when you look at all the parameters and you've got your full comprehensive business plan together, and you know that the revenue is going to continue to flow into this process for as long as you're going to be the leader within that environment, but also as the youth that are coming forward will wind up being leaders. There will be a continuous supply of resourcing coming through. So it's really looking at it from a different perspective and understanding that without risk, there is no reward. There is no opportunity for anybody. And that was the biggest challenge that we face when we're going out to meet with our communities, is whether or not they can actually afford to take the risk. And a lot of times when we're out there and we're talking to them about whether or not they can afford to take that risk and be that risk manager from a knowledgeable perspective, so that we're looking at it from an investment perspective rather than a risk perspective, because you have to move forward. You can't stop because of fear. And that's the challenge that most of our communities face. They look at it and they go, oh, it's going to cost too much for us to move forward. It's going to cost too much for us to be able to accelerate our activities. It's like we have to go out and we have to get an investment firm to come in and invest in our organization and make things happen. That's called ownership. That's called development. And that's how most of the organizations in the world have succeeded. It's by taking that risk and looking at it from a reward perspective. It's calculated, it's intentional, it's not a risk that you're just throwing, throwing money away. And they really have to look at it from a whole different perspective. And that's some of the biggest challenges that we face as when we're going out to work with our communities, is to let them think about the opportunity that exists. They have to understand that with the risk and the reward that comes, there's going to be lots of employment opportunities, there's going to be a lot of development opportunities, but more importantly, the way you structure things and the way the resource flow back, you're going to wind up having resourcing for housing. You're going to have resourcing for health. You're going to have resourcing for education. You're going to have resourcing for sporting activities, cultural activities. There are a lot more rewards than there are risks. Sometimes you have to step outside of that safety box and move forward. So with that, we're here to help you, to give you a hand up, not a handout. Thank you.